Hello there, YouTube. This is Sibbles and Bits back at it again with Month of Aces and Adventures. Again, we had a bit of a week-long hiatus due to, life stuff and other things going on, but we're back. We've been playing the game. It's just that we've been trying out a whole bunch of decks, gaining levels, stuff like that. Decided that today we were going to just do an update at where we are at with Aces and Adventures and sort of show you, the sort of pitfalls and stuff that we're running into. The next couple of videos will be deck videos for both Shaylin and God, I can't even remember her name. This is embarrassing. Layla. And so, also, I guess we can talk about sort of like an update on news for Aces and Adventures. They have announced that they are going to, well, first off, they've posted their roadmap, which means that they plan on developing the game more. What does that roadmap entail? They said that they're going to release, their words, a steady supply of more abilities for each character. And they showcased one that was for Nazim. I'm not going to really bring that up and look into that, because we'll just look at them as they're released if they release within the end of the month, which is probably unlikely. They're also talking about balancing passes on characters. They're talking about adding more content into the game by means of new items, events, enemies in all the procedural modes. I say all procedural modes because they have another one that they're going to be adding called Deck Manager Mode, which is more like Slay the Spire or a slightly more sterilized experience that is actually a deck builder, whereas you start the game with a base deck of like around 10 cards, they say, and then there's basically like one path you take, but as you go on that path, you're going to be removing cards, upgrading abilities, drafting new abilities into your ability deck. So it's a little bit more of like a steady, like random progression, and so that'll be another procedural mode, as well as War of the Branches, which we've been playing previously. They've also stated that they're going to look into daily challenges, and eventually they hope to get handcrafted challenges, which is basically they're going to have like a challenge made. You might have to play a specific character with a specific deck, but it's just like, hey, this is either really interesting or really difficult. Just figure out how you're going to deal with it. And I think that that's pretty good, because what the game really needs right now is just more content, because it seems like the difficulty is there, because we'll get to that once we talk about where we're at, but the difficulty seems to be there. What it really needs is a reason, like different reasons to keep playing the game, right? More horizontal content, I would call it. The meat and potatoes is there. You just need more stuff to do. Adding more character cards, some balance passes, different modes, challenges. There's definitely ways to get more content out of people in a way that feels good to me, as opposed to making us grind, say, another 30 mana for like some other sort of like wacky benefit or anything like that. Anyways, where are we at? We are gaining levels, and currently we're trying to get level 30 on all characters. We are currently level 30 with Shaylin. Reason why we are actually gaining levels now is because now that we have beaten Summer with level 0, but custom decks, we are now actually facing like considerable opposition. And so it, instead of just trying to determine like how far to go into leveling, I'm just kicking out level 30 on everybody and just giving it a feel. But it's obvious that at this point, the levels are starting to become important. And I'm guessing that once we get to summer, or is it summer? No, winter, It's pretty much going to be a, you have level 30, and it's still going to be egregiously difficult. And that's the way that that's supposed to be played. I obviously am not there yet, so I can't speak for it. But just to sort of show you the difficulties that we're running into, this video we're actually going to play a little bit of Fall. We are stuck on Chapter 1, if that shows you anything. And you're about to find out why. We are going to first play with some level 0 characters. Nazeem and Ravenmeyer, I think, are probably going to be our best odds at beating this chapter. So we're going to go ahead and just play a couple times with them. And one of the issues is right off the bat, the Pilgrim has first strike, safe attack, and a whopping 6 attack. So they're going to frequently draw pairs, and they are highly likely to draw 3 of a kind. And so we have to hope that our initial starting hand at level 0, because we're not able to mulligan and pull cards out, we don't have like an increased hand size, this immediately has to be ready for us to block against a pair or a 3 of a kind. And luckily we got it. This usually doesn't happen, so you go ahead and you take 2 damage. We don't have bonus health because of the fact that we haven't leveled up. So this would bring us down to 4 immediately. And this is where other characters also sort of suffer at this point too, is we managed to block.
Prepare yourself.
And since we had to block with a pair, we now don't have a pair to attack with. And so now this Pilgrim with safe attack just ate our ability to fight him back. And he has 5 defense as well, so he's also very highly going to get like high card, so we can't really attack him with this queen. We're going to just completely ignore the whole concept of, you know, interacting with attacking and defending. We're going to try and give ourselves the best pair possible in our hand, which is something that I would recommend in general. I'm hoping to have sort of like a beginner/intermediate tips video at some point this month. It might even come out after the month of, because of the fact that, well, I'm not very good at making tutorial videos right now. Not something that I'm very good at. But what I'm hopefully good at is explaining things as they come up, so I hope that this is at least coherent as I'm explaining why we're starting to level at this point in the game. We did get a good suit, so we are able to deal 2 damage to this Pilgrim here. We might actually be able to get out of this unscathed, but this is only the first fight. We lucked into the exact amount that we needed, and again, Pilgrim has safe attack, so even if this was, say, a pair of 10s or a pair of queens, it's not like we can retaliate and actually deal damage back to them. So,
I have seen
again, we lucked out pretty well. This can turn this ace into a heart or anything else, so we can actually go ahead and beat this guy. We want to keep hold of this Blizzard because there's a couple group events coming up. We're also probably going to want to keep hold of this Ice Bolt. So oddly enough, it's probably going to be this Fireball, but we'll unearth just to be safe. And we got another Ice Bolt, which is going to be helpful. So again, we are not interacting at all with attack or defense because chances are he's going to beat our ass. That heal is only 3, by the way.
The sun.
So now we have a double attack, safe attack. So, as you can see, we either need to burst this fox down right now, which we do not have the resources to do so, or we need to actually be able to defend against 2 7 attacks, which generally speaking, you reshuffle your hand in defense. So you could technically get lucky and get both defends, but again, at 7, very highly likely that you're going to get hit with a 2. Also highly likely that you're going to get hit with a 3. I've even gotten hit by a 4 of a kind. Or, is that what they're called? Yeah, 4 of a kind. Off of this fox here.
The sand holds many secrets.
and we got absolutely nothing, so we're just going to hope that he's merciful. He was not merciful. Okay, we can at least block that. Again, safe attack means that we do not deal retaliatory damage. We have to deal damage with our abilities, but thankfully our abilities cycled out the cards that we did not need, a ton of diamonds, and we got some good abilities here. So I actually think this is what we're going for.
Ancients, lend me your power.
Oh, this is rough. And we're going to take damage anyways. I think we actually want that heart. What we want to use here is probably one of these spades.
I wield a menagerie of elements.
I'm debating actually attacking here. And again, 5 defense means that this is highly likely. That was actually a very good hand, but looking at how low that they were drawing recently, if I was paying attention to that, I'd know that they had a what we would call a sweet deck, which is a deck that has a lot of face cards and aces. And so if I was actually paying attention to that specifically, we probably would not have tried that at all. Sorry about that. You're going to notice a cut because we, my throat is not agreeing with talking today. Anyways, we're going to try and use our resources as reliably as possible. That was not very reliable at all. I might honestly take this fireball because if we don't, we're pretty much dead. And, I mean, we're honestly dead anyways.
What lands?
Okay, that was very lucky. But we have to luck into another... Okay, only high card. We got incredibly lucky. So we can just ice bolt this thing and...
What a curious creature.
There are secrets which even I do not know,
A
but
strange...
not many. My power is ancient.
Okay. Even if we use Card Trick, we can't use Blizzard because we used our Fireball, which is what we were trying to use here.
Many secrets.
+2 defense is something.
Ancients,
And these
lend
enemies,
me your power.
thankfully, do not have safe attack. But what they do have is siphoning, so if they deal damage to us, they get healed by the same amount. And they make us discard abilities, which is important for the next fight, because the next fight is another AoE fight. And we're holding on to this Blizzard, hopefully for that purpose. So, we're in a way. I mean, we don't have shields we have to block. That's high card, we're done. Alright. So that was one attempt. Oh, thanks for making me discard abilities. Next card was an ace. We're going to try this time with Ravenmeyer. And again,
First breath of
starting to look,
fall,
let's get past this dialogue
a
first.
pilgrim.
Who are you? Please.
Oh. Okay.
I smell blood.
So, again, immediately, right off the bat, not being able to mulligan our hand for a good pair or a good high card means that we don't have a very good solid defensive strategy, meaning that we're going into this fight and we're almost guaranteed to take 2. Now granted, there is a chapter, I believe it's called Grimmire or something like that, Gloommire, that does a similar thing. Right at the start of the game, it does deal 2 damage to you. But we're taking 2 damage to go into this fight. And also, like I said, we're not really set up to now attack this man. Now, we actually got quite lucky, and we have a 3 of a kind. Chances are he's not going to get that. But we still have to defend ourselves. Thankfully, he only got 1 high card, so we're only going to take 1 damage.
Will be your grave.
And, holy lord, okay. That is not worth it. Let's take this 6.
I have you now.
Wait! Forgive my haste, stranger. You've forgotten.
The sun.
I invite you to run.
And in an earlier video, we were talking about, like, how we had to swap back and forth to get through spring. No, not spring. I keep getting them mixed up. It would be summer. In order to get through summer, we would have to use the right character for the right chapter because of the way that enemies are set up and when you're going to get your levels and such. And the reason why I already pretty much stated we were using Nazeem first is because he doesn't have to interact with attacking to deal damage. And that's one of the benefits that these enemies with safe attack have, is we have to dismantle our hand in order to not take damage, and then luck into a good hand in order to actually deal damage, unless we're like spiky ability characters. And like Nazeem. Ravenmeyer kind of gets to do the same thing. All he needs is a good defensive hand, and then he can attack with any card because of Raven's Flight, and it's going to deal damage. Now, unfortunately, we did not get, we didn't really get anything good here. But, so we'll actually, we want to keep that high card. We'll Raven's Flight to deal 1 damage, and then we'll put ourselves into the blender. Oh. Well, you know, odds are. We're going to keep that 10 just in case we draw another one.
The ravens.
What we probably should have done is tossed so that we could have gotten Fenrir, because Fenrir is our way out of this.
Get up.
And then we're going to go ahead and take down Raven's Flight. We want to keep this relatively high pair because that's going to be our defensive pair. We got a high card. This is good. That is bad. However, we did luck into Bloodheart, which allows us to add Wild Rage +1 to a heart.
Hunt is on.
And this enemy is done.
In the crosshairs.
Unfortunately, we used Fenrir for it, but
This time, I will earn my power.
now we deal twice as much damage, so we're in fights for half the time. Theoretically speaking, we got access to reload, which is even better. I kind of want to keep this king, but I think we already used kings. Another thing that they're adding for quality of life is being able to see the entirety of the discard pile when you grab it, and being able to see the entirety of your ability pile when you grab it, which is kind of nice. So we're trying to figure out how exactly we deal damage here. Blood magic is quite good because that allows us to turn this king into a high pair of aces. It's pretty reliable. So what we're going to do is we're going to Raven's Flight, pop this thing. Actually, yeah, let's Night Piercer. And then we're going to just try and eliminate what we can. We match your high card. This is actually going pretty well. And that's another thing to note about the game in general, is that you definitely run into situations like we saw before where you just all of a sudden get hit by a 3-pair that you can't really do anything about. I said 3-pair. I've been trying to get better at that. A 3 of a kind that you can't really block. However, that's like reliable RNG, but once you get to the point to like where you have levels, you've got good abilities in your hands, at that point, the spiky RNG is still there, but at least you have tools to like mitigate it or just brute force your way through it in however your deck and character manage that. And also having access to the trump cards, which are generally defensive at level 7, is also incredibly helpful. Getting your ability pluses due to levels is helpful. And that is where like all of these levels are slowly starting to trickle in, right? You can mulligan your opening hand of cards so that, okay, maybe I make sure that I have a high defensive pair and a high card. That way, if an enemy has safe attack at the beginning, I don't immediately get blown up. Or if I'm playing a character that is using abilities to spike damage things, I can kind of make sure that according to whichever abilities I draw, and I draw more abilities at higher levels, try and make sure that I'm set up for that as well. And you can sort of like set up your hands according to your character and your deck, and so you just play better. And then at level 30, you get the probably one of the biggest spikes, which is starting at level 1. And the best thing about starting at level 1 is you can sort of decide how you want to tailor that, because do you go to level 3 straight away, or do you choose the first level to heal yourself because of a bad engagement or something like that? You haven't quite gotten economy yet. And all of these things really start to snowball difficulty in your favor. Again, could we possibly like luck into getting past this at level 0 still? I still think so, but it's just it's astronomical the amount of help that they put into those 30 levels. Anyways, let's get back to this, shall we? I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me just talk about all that all the time. I'm wondering if, because I don't want to use reload here. Wow, I should have used reload. And I'm pretty much dead. I'm not dead. I'm only mostly dead. And there's my 2 abilities. Should have used reload because now we're sitting here doing absolutely nothing. We're going to have to use our last ability.
In the crosshairs.
As much as I feel like we need a level up, I think we need to restore here.
No need for rest.
It's really not going to help us in the next fight.
And should you but be warned. A white?
The ravens are circling.
So Superior Guard means that I can't even use abilities like Raven's Flight against other targets. I have to still target them. Which, as you might have guessed, is pretty ridiculous. We have Disarming Shot, which is pretty good. We also have access to, again, good pair and a high card. So we're feeling pretty good. Oh. Yeah, once they get to 7, like this just happens so much.
I smell blood.
That would be nice if we could afford it, which we can't. So we're just going to keep blinking away, I guess, and then hoping for the best. Oh, that's 1 damage. And this is my other argument, too, that I said earlier. The spiky RNG still exists. Even if we had all of our abilities and such, like the wild card helps. They add 2 wild cards into your deck, which you can draw, which can be pretty much anything. Those definitely help you spike, but after you've gone past your initial like glow up phase, you're still having to interact with the game, and it's still going to draw 3s of a kind against you, and you still probably can't do much against that. And so that's why I honestly feel that this is very possible. Well, it's definitely possible at level 0. It's just highly unlikely. And it's me smashing my face against the game like you're seeing here until I get like just the right click, and then I can finally pass through. After this, we're going to try this with Shaylin and maybe Layla, and see if that makes a difference because of the fact that Shaylin's level 30 and Layla has some custom decks. And so you'll be able to see a little bit of that early, which may or may not be exciting for you guys.
I invite you to run.
Okay. I almost want to blow you up, but I think I need to get rid of you as soon as possible. And in order to do that, we're going to have to do this. Good hand. Not a good defense. Okay. We actually stand a chance.
Circling.
God, I really don't want to use this early, but again, we're pretty much just focused on trying to stay alive right now. And we want to keep that ace just in case for some reason they don't get a pair and we got a high card. A pair of aces also helps, not going to lie. So we're going to go ahead and just take those. If we live here, okay, we live, then we're able to use Raven's Flight, and that'll allow us to kill this fox. We do have a straight, but that doesn't really do much for us, so we're going to go ahead and take one of the edges here and hope that what that does is we just draw into it next time. And it's a 10. We got one. That's actually quite nice. And so this is partially why I mentioned when we were leveling up Layla that getting plus abilities and plus ability, starting with extra abilities, I believe they start you with 3 at max level, and getting +1 abilities in like capacity in hand is so strong, is because once you get to the merchant, you're spending abilities in order to get there. Now you can use the abilities to burst through and just get through the first few fights without much troubles, or if you're pretty confident in your abilities to manage the enemies, then you can go ahead and use abilities here in order to gain benefits like +1 offense. Now here we're probably not going to take +1 offense due to the fact that well, it really doesn't do much for us. We do have Second Wind, which gives us +2 offense with single card attacks, which is actually quite nice. We might actually want offense because of that, but in order to get it, we'd have to get rid of it. And I want this buff more than I want this +1 offense all the time. So we're probably going to take a Steel Skin Potion for Smokescreen, and then we're going to be on our way.
You track a timid path.
This wall was the width. The other road.
Okay. Like, these are both absolutely suffer. This is a large group attack, which we're not good against because we're going to have to defend ourselves against multiple enemies. So we're going to go ahead for the one very strong enemy.
Lulled by the...
I invite you to run.
Alright. So we're going to go ahead and just use this straight away. With double attack, we're likely to take damage. We ate 2 aces, that's pretty good, but they're going to draw through their deck again. And there's the 2 damage. Now, we want these 2 spades here in order to activate Second Wind, and then we want a spade and a diamond for Seek, which is probably going to help us kill. So I guess we're going to get rid of these.
I smell blood.
Well, alright.
I can't miss.
Well, we might die here. Okay. So, honestly, like, that was a very good run. Because after we get this, I believe I believe there's one more fight. We got to go against the Dark Eater or whatever it's called, Dark Figure. And after we do that, we're done with the chapter. So we were technically 2 fights away. But I've definitely gotten into like a 20-round stalemate against the Pilgrim for reasons that I've already discussed. I've never actually seen Wild Bolts. That's actually quite... It's a little insane. Anyways.
What is the mark?
So, Shaylin is level 30. So we're going to gain a level right away. We're going to be able to mulligan. And hopefully this allows us to have a better chance. Okay, so again, we have After Image, which is helpful. And what we're looking for here is we want a high pair and a high card. So all these low cards pretty much have to go. They also don't satisfy Arashi or anything like that that we might want.
Deadlier yet.
Okay, we got a pair of kinks. That's good. Black cards deal +1 attack damage. We're probably going to need that. Actually, Shadow Emissary is pretty good. If we are able to successfully attack and we have a club in our hand, we tap the target so that they cannot attack us. I think that for this chapter, we definitely need that because of how much safe attack and double attack there is.
The first breath.
It's going to take forever, though.
A pilgrim.
Who are you? Please.
What? Oh, man. Okay. Guess that's 3 health.
Not fit to fight my shadow.
Even though we had a high pair of kings. Anyways, we should still be able to get some good stuff out of this. Because of what we have here. So we're going to go ahead and hit you with this. We're going to, whoop, dual wield.
Second fang.
That was relatively risky, but
my haste.
not as risky as it looked.
You've forgotten yourself.
The sun. Talons ready.
Okay. What do we got here? We ain't got shit, honestly. Top 2 cards would be a pair of 2s. Eh? So I guess we're going to hit with this. Thirsting Fang is kind of nice, except that we don't have damage.
My daggers will
Guess we're going to risk
sing.
this. Yep. Well, that's 1 ace. We could shank, but honestly just... why do I have save? Oh, because we have dual wield 2. Whenever we dual wield, it has safe attack. So yeah, I'm not going to use a card in order to negate 0 damage. Well, we're going to take damage here. We can cancel an incoming attack, tap all enemies, and our next attack deals double damage. That seems kind of wasteful here. We're just going to take the 2 damage. King. Well. That just seems like a waste, because that could be dealing damage. But I'm also not sure that we can afford to lose the health.
I will end this.
Because we really want to level after we get past the soup. That is something I never thought that I would say. Okay. pair of 5s. Oh, just a high card. We can beat that.
I will end this.
Alright. I honestly don't know how the heck we're gonna... This is pretty risky for that reason. We're probably going to force this shank. And yeah, heal me. Don't heal me again.
I'm not done yet.
Then we're going to dual wield and just fish for damage. Because if we would have gotten it, we would have won. And all it cost us was to cycle one card, which is something we want to do anyways. Guess we're canceling this attack. High card, let's go. One thing to note that you may have noticed is that whenever we cancel an attack with Smoke Bomb or any other sort of cancel attack effects that other characters may have, you don't redraw your hand because the attack hasn't concluded. That's part of cleanup after damage is dealt or no damage is dealt. So keep that in mind when you, if you have a deck that you're constantly going to be canceling combat. Or even Shadow Snake here, cancel an incoming attack. Anyways, we're going to just end this fool. Hopefully. And we are not healing.
What a curious creature. My technique yet improves.
Level 2 is huge for us. I love sharpening. Like, I really love sharpening. Thief might have been the better choice if we were playing my other deck that I've made that more focuses on like burst, because all we have to do is land one attack and then we get an ability which is likely to either get more attacks or deal damage, and so we're just constantly dealing damage through that route. But sharpening makes it so that we never tie, and we can defend with a pair that's one lower, so the amount of pairs that can beat our pairs is like 2 less. And so it's an insane amount of damage. I could see like going for like a huge burst with the top decking the jack, but we also kind of want jacks. So sharpening just allows us to use what we have to a better degree.
Time to strike.
I don't want to use that. It's a little rough.
I'm out of attacks for this round. My daggers will sing.
I don't want to attack that time. I apologize. I wish to actually, like, remove this from the map. So yeah, this pair of 8s is actually going to not only block, but deal damage against that pair of 9s. And that's, again, just part of how ridiculous this is. Oh, well, that's, kind of crummy. Gonna make us discard both of these
Talon's ready.
right before the merchant. All right.
Surrender, and this will be painless.
But yeah, especially when you start looking at like a lot of characters level 2s like this. Like, we've only used this once, technically speaking. But a lot of characters have some insane level 2s. And so starting with the level means that at this point where we were still kind of struggling, we're definitely much more powerful than we would be. Which is another reason why that initial level is so powerful on the meta progression.
I'm not through.
The path from
A worthy reward.
And again, being able to take a level there instead of anything else is absolutely insane. Wake of Feathers might actually be what we want here. Unrelenting Darkness is also, like, pretty insane, especially due to the fact that we beat Ties. We might try to do that, but it also might be that with all these double attacks that are in play, we want Wake of Feathers just to be able to potentially, like, not be in combat at all. Because the odds of us blocking a 3 of a kind, which again is quite rare in this case, is highly unlikely. So being able to just have a 3 chance to just negate that combat. We're going to try this. I haven't actually tried that one yet. Maybe it doesn't even work the way I think it does.
Time to strike.
Alright. That's not going to do anything. Then we might as well just pair up. Or not pair up. Hit that. Dual wield.
Done yet.
There we go. And again, because we have Blackjack, that's going to deal +1 damage and tap the enemy so that they cannot attack us. But we still have to deal with this frickin' guy. Well, time to see how this works. Boosh. I don't want to use those.
Surrender, and this will be painless.
I'm willing to use these. Yeah, this is pretty good. I think what we want to do, though... Dual wield. Because that'll deal enough damage to kill. And then we want to after image to get 2 more kings into our hand. And then it's this frickin' guy's turn. I'll gamble it. All of our aces are going to the discard, though. We'll want to keep that in mind. This is just a high card, which means that we're probably going to take 1 damage here. That's fine. I'm cool with that. Alright. And I think what we're going to do is this.
Will be the key.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, there's almost feasibly no way that we could handle this besides to... I mean, obviously, if we had a custom deck, we could put more smoke screens in there or whatever. Smoke Bomb is the name of her ability. I don't know what it is. But we can cancel combat through that. We have access to, again, to our trump card, which we can use defensively. And all other sorts of things that we could do. Like, again, hitting him with a club would have just tapped him and then this would have never happened. So it runs into one of those situations that because enemy damage is so spiky, almost the best thing to do is just to not engage with the enemy and defense at all. And so if you're able to do that, then that's great. But we thankfully have Wake of Feathers because we've leveled this character. And we got lucky and just canceled the combat. We're going to have to do it again. We popped our wild card for that. I'm a little upset, but we lived.
A strange man leans against a sack of goods on the side of the road. A single eye gleams at you from the...
Alright, so at this point, I would honestly tell you that the thing that I would really want is defense. So as I said, once you get up to like 6, 7, getting pairs is more likely. At 7, you're very likely to get a 3 of a kind. So the best way to circumvent that is to make sure that the enemy is drawing as little cards as possible. And in fact, that's pretty much how the whole game works, right? If enemies are drawing less cards, they're less likely to block you, you're dealing damage. If they're drawing less cards to attack you, they're less likely to get pairs, and so you've got a better chance at blocking them most of the time. Of course, if you don't have a high card and they draw just a king, then you're likely going to take 1 damage. But taking 1 damage is generally fine. But I am more than willing. Get rid of Arashi. I'll actually take that.
You track a timid...
This wall.
And that's why I was debating
The other road curved.
Brigand in the first level, because just having +1 defense would mean that enemies are just going to draw less cards, and then you also get the benefit of +1 defense per successful attack. If we're able to get 2 successful attacks, now we have 3 defense. So these enemies that are drawing 7 cards against us are now drawing 4, much less likely to get those 3s and those 2s. I'm still feeling pretty good about our single targets, so I would prefer to take this one.
You are not fit to fight my shadow.
And a smoke bomb is helpful too. We're going to straight out the bat, Obsidian Blade. This is going to tap him so that he doesn't attack us. So we are more than willing to throw this, especially because it has safe attack. Oh no, we didn't deal damage. Anyways,
Ready.
2 smoke bombs. This is actually pretty good. I guess what we're going to do is just cycle, fish for a free. We win ties in our +1, so that actually hit.
I will end this.
Alright. We might use Contract, because, again, this is the fight before the final boss. This is our last chance to heal. So we'll go ahead.
Marked.
And again, we'll just make this safe. Yeah, upgraded Shaylin is very good at playing this level of the game, which is primarily why, you know, I did it. But why are we getting so many smoke bombs all of a sudden? My wild card. You bastard.
I will end this.
Okay. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to Thieves' Tools,
The key.
repair Aces. They're very unlikely to get that, although I suppose they drew through, so that's not actually the case. And then we'll just use a Queen to fish. We fished out 2 Jacks. We can Smoke Bomb here. I kind of want to keep those Jacks in order to defend. I really don't want to use... I guess we will. We'll use another
Time
Smoke
to
Bomb.
strike.
That feels a little wasteful, though. I'll tell you what, though.
You're marked. I'm not done yet.
Alright. +1 defense and gain 1 shield at the start of your turn. Look at that! We can't level up anyways because we're already level 3.
The sun set.
That's actually setting us up pretty well for this.
And this will be painless.
Entities with nullified dark cannot be affected by non-hero abilities activated by using a black card, which is like all of ours. Although I don't think that affects Smoke Bomb, because we're not actually targeting it, we're targeting the combat. We'll have to see about that. Entities with Dark Mastery deal +1 damage with black cards, and do not suffer damage from black cards in combat. Rude. And they attack twice per turn. So this is honestly still going to be a fight for our lives. Don't think that it won't. But let's at least hold... No, we should... Let's get this. No, we're not healing. Get rid of that. Try and tap you. We beat ties and we're +1, so that worked out.
Talon's ready.
Alright. Do we want 2 abilities? I think we do. Do we want 2 abilities more than having a 2 and a 7? Absolutely. Thieves' Tools is nice. That does not work. Nullify is everything, right? Cannot be affected by non-hero abilities. Yep. Okay. So we're going to throw a 3 of a kind, but it's a low 3 of a kind, so we're still going to use our
My daggers
dual
will
wield.
sing. This will be the key.
Alright. Once again getting saved by that sharpening. Not this time though. We will take this damage though.
You are not fit to fight my shadow.
Shurikens don't do anything. Stop.
Second fang.
Thank God that was safe attack. We'll Smoke Bomb out of this one. And we'll take 2 here. Unless... Again, kind of preferred I had that ace. We got another ace though. Aces are pretty safe, especially because we win ties, so get tapped. And then we might as well fish with this queen. Especially because it does 2 damage. And at this point we'll use Thirsting Fang to top ourselves off. Oh! If this was only 1 less, then we could hit him with a full house. And it would have been devastating. So instead, what we're going to do is gamble here. Dual wield. And hey, look at that, we did it. Relatively easily, at least. Get stuffed. I'm getting stuffed. Let's use our low cards. We got our wild cards, so we're out of it.
I will end this. This will be the key. I'm not through.
There we go. We beat Chapter 1.
The math.
There was little resistance.
And we did it in a time. Look at that. The wild range +4? And wild suit specifically to a spade. Interesting. Like, every time I see new cards, I'm just impressed with what you can do in this game. So we're going to just go blind into Chapter 2, because we're not quite at the hour-and-a-half mark here. And we're going to go ahead and use Layla, and give me not that one. I forgot to make myself level 30, so we are going into this as level 0, so we might get bopped right away.
I am as the desert breeze.
Powerful attack. Wow.
My wish is your command.
We'd have to get rid of our attack in order to gamba on that. We're gonna do it though. We didn't. This is relatively safe, so let's just go ahead and get rid of that. We didn't. We did get rid of a couple high cards though. I would much rather take one less damage here. It's not like we're going to block this anyway. Well.
Charmed, I'm sure.
We're getting stuffed.
I make it. I am as the desert breeze.
We might actually make it out of here alive, though. Nope.
You cannot trust your eyes.
Well, we're likely going to die here, so we're going to go ahead and gamba on this. We got it. Hot damn. Now we're dead. Okay. I don't know, again, I feel like that one is at least a little bit more manageable. They start surprise, so we're able to attack first. And their attack and defense values are only 5, which makes a relatively balanced fight, question mark. Actually, no. We'll go ahead and try that again.
From the horizon.
I feel like as soon as we get past that and we level, it's cruise control.
The mist. Strange.
Which actually isn't true, now that I remember the events that are here.
You must be punished. Heads I win, tails you lose.
2 kings out, that's good. That's an ace. Not really much we can do about that. Not really much we can do about that either. We could Fate Weaving and make it 1 less damage. Oh, don't get rid of my pair, please. What are you doing?
I am as the desert breeze.
All right. You know what? We'll go ahead, gamba. That's what the whole deck is about. Okay.
Time to give fate.
I'll use Fate Weaving to
My wish is your command.
to block you. This is so rough. That would be able to, like, insta you. Anyways, we'll gladly use our attack and fight this man defensively.
You cannot trust your eyes. You must be punished.
As you can see, this deck kind of wants to be level 1 because we do a lot of top decking in it, and we are not level 1. Another case where being level 30 would be very useful. So we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to boost that up to 30 there. Again, just to fill the time here.
This can only end one of two ways.
Honestly, get rid of that.
Even I can
Yes.
get better.
Alright, this deck wants Sands of Fate.
The mist. Strange.
I am as the desert breeze.
Okay, so we have a full house. We can just go ahead and upright kill one of these things. Another thing that we can do is we can just go ahead and top deck another one. But this is probably better. Technically, Charm would use less of our resources, but Charm itself is a resource, so I would much rather not use that if I can avoid it. Then, of course, we could cycle through this with our Chains of Will, but we will not.
Now it's my turn.
We have another Charmed. That's exactly the same. So I know they're going to get one King and another 5 cards. Chances are is that we're actually going to get bobbed here. We did not. You'd love to see it. I probably should have checked for the top deck to see if we couldn't have finished that man off. We can block here. Okay, we're going to use Fate Weaving.
Just a little nudge. Ha! Charmed, I'm sure.
No, man, we're so close to another huge payout there. 6 versus 9. See ya.
Heads I win, tails you lose.
And then, honestly, this is very risky. We would prefer to keep that for our defense. We ate 2 aces and a queen, though. Well, we're going to take 2 damage here. That's actually not too bad.
Now it's my turn.
Echo, give me my Delphic Wager back. And can we just non-contest you? No, we have to fight you. Boo. We'll use Fate Weaving, make a pair of kings. They've used a lot of their aces. Chances are they can't beat us, they'll block us.
Well, this hardly seems fair.
Alright, that's a level. So... keep forgetting. What do we take on that? I think it's fine for us to take Mistress of Hearts or Mirage. Probably Mirage, but when enemies have more offensive stats, it's kind of hard for us to defend better than they do. We'll take Mistress of Hearts.
You plunged. Whoever got pitiful figures shut.
Charmed, I'm sure.
All right. 2 versus 10. See ya. What else do we got here? Queen versus 5. I would prefer you not to have a queen, so I'm actually just going to throw this Chains at Will to cycle you. And how are you looking? Still better than me. Meep map. Pair of 10s. There's their kings and another ace. I was gonna say they've got a very bitter deck, but they have no deck. They ain't got no deck. For We're probably going to take damage here. Now, if we actually would have taken being able to defend with better hands, we easily could have given ourselves a 3 of a kind and beaten them, but we did not do that. I think what we're honestly going to do is we're going to use our trump card here, and so what we're going to do is we're going to make that a 5, we're going to make those 5s, and why am I doing this? Hold up. I have no idea what I'm doing. There we go. We have a full house here. I'd prefer not to break it, but we're going to have to break it. Unless we want to take 2 damage, which I suppose. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, it's wild range plus 2 at this level. Yeah, we can do that. Okay.
I am as the desert breeze.
Okay. Okay, game. Got some 9s with that. I suppose that's good. What do we got here? Jack versus 6. Can't use any of this. All we gotta do is beat these fools.
Wrest the ruined weapons from their clutches and claim them for
That's
your
actually
own.
quite interesting, because I know what this is. I believe this is every time that we attack with a spade, we heal 1. Or we can get our level 3. I think we can take this.
In the chamber beyond the mule,
The sustain will be nice. Do we fight this? We can level off of it.
Reach the jaw snap.
Watch me regret this. Clubs deal +1, diamonds deal -1. Okay. Man, we really should have taken defend better. Alright, 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 alright. We got this. We got this.
I'll tell you when you've won.
Make yourself a club if you're going to do something. Okay.
My wish is your command.
We wish to attack with a spade. Before we do that... Nope. Aiden Ace. Alright, now... we'll pop that 10. There we go. We'll keep Delphic Wager +2. Let's just toss one of these
Get
out.
it in the air.
I want to get rid of that king, even if it means getting rid of an ace.
Get it in the air.
That's fine by me. Okay.
Time to give fate a hand. I am as the desert breeze.
The Slate Drake.
I didn't
can
realize
make
that
that
these
work.
items go +1 actually. The Falchion didn't.
Fetching.
That's so interesting.
Leave.
We'll take the level though.
Even I can get better.
And on this level, what we want is... Desert Rose is very good, but I think on this one what we do is we take Celerity.
A doorway. Good.
Honestly, all three of those are pretty
The
good on this
merchant
deck.
From the wood.
Our ability to take a look at the top deck would also make the one where you flip over and it's a 50-50 per color to deal double damage of that color is pretty freaking nice. We want to keep our charms. We want to keep our Delphic Wager +2, so we can really only spend one, maybe two. But that gives us defense, and we don't play fair, so we don't really care about... sorry, that gives us offense. We don't really care about that, so I'm willing to get rid of one Delphic Wager for a
Accept old
refreshment.
lamps.
A narrow foot. 3 flicker.
My wish is your command.
Nullify Hearts. Wow. Which means that we can't do that, can we? Or non-hero abilities? Is this my hero ability? Interesting concept. Yes, that is a hero ability. I am a fool. Well. Oof. No, I'll take 2 damage from my hubris. We're honestly probably gonna die here.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Dealing damage to these guys is important, so that means really don't want to use the Delphic Wager here. We can't use Charm. Maybe it's doomed? Or we just stop being fools and we...
Heads I win, tails you lose. Sad, bury you.
A2 Kings with that, that's pretty good. And then I guess we'll attack, but if we're going to attack, we might as well attack you. It's risky. You ate an ace and a queen with that. That's rough. The high card we weren't looking for, but we can Fate
You
Weaving
cannot trust your eyes.
and beat you. Gonna take 1 damage there.
Now it's my turn.
Getting both of our buffs in hand is kind of suffer right here. Gonna be
This is
risky
what I make it.
because we kind of have to be. Otherwise, we're honestly just gonna die here.
My wish is your command.
Doomed, huh? I'll take Doomed. It's another HP. We're level 3, so we're gonna
Next
restore.
time, more armor.
We may mulligan 6 cards. I guess that's how we want to mulligan here. Brass is good. I legit think we want 1 into the lamp, but we don't want 2, so I think that's what we're going to do here. Red card steal +1 combat. Let's go.
You must be punished.
And they have harm shields. So we're going to deal 1 damage to ourselves whenever we try to deal damage to them. A little rough. Let's take a look at our top deck here. We actually win. So I think Charmed is... Is Charmed better than a 5? Oh, we'll draw. A whole bunch of low cards there. That's not what we want to see. Now we'll Charm. Probably should have checked that, but eating their ace was great. And then, honestly, give me Charm back. It's kind of hard to get rid of an ace, but I think we're going to need it versus an 8. Rough. Fate Weaving.
I'll tell you when you've won. My wish is your command.
I'll take that. Well.
Stairs. I was late.
That was good, but I've had better.
So. As you probably noticed there, again, still very spiky damage. We almost died, like legitimately. I mean, I guess we had the recovery at the end of the fight that almost killed us. But otherwise, that's what level 30 with custom decks looks like at Autumn. And there's one more difficulty past this, so at that point I would assume is the point where you're actually supposed to be level 30 with custom decks, but definitely was a noticeable difference, I would say, between when we had just level 0 with the custom decks, and then, like, it was literally that first level made all the difference there. Would we have been able to do that without level 30? Maybe. I don't know. I legitimately don't know. Anyways, hopefully that was interesting for you guys to take a look at. It's just something that I wanted to make sure that you guys saw because it's something that I noticed. And again, the whole point of Month of is for us to sort of like show you things throughout the stages of like a game. And right now we're sort of at like that middling phase where we're kind of getting towards the air quotes endgame content, but we're not quite. Well, I mean, with Layla we're technically ready because we're level 30 and all that stuff, but it's not, how do I say, we don't have the best decks, I think, and especially like when I go into like the deck videos, there's certainly cards that I wish that I had that I don't, but Digital Lamp +1 is interesting. No combat damage. Might have to swap that one into there. Anyways. Again, hopefully it was still enjoyable. You guys enjoyed either the gameplay, me discussing how the game is if you're looking into buying it or something like that, or just trying to promote discussion, or again, voicing like exactly the thought processes that I'm going through when I'm looking at, okay, would levels help here? Is levels not helping here? How we're trying to set up our hands and stuff. That's generally what I'm known for in Arcanium. For those of you who haven't been watching the channel, is sort of over-explaining a whole bunch of things, but it's really hard to over-explain poker. Especially like crazy poker like this. There's so much shit going on. But again, hopefully it was still enjoyable. If so, feel free to leave any feedback down below, be it questions, concerns, comments, misplay alerts. And until next time, I'll catch you guys around.